Hello and welcome to Math 110 College Algebra. My name is Miss Morrissey and I am going to be your instructor this semester. So I thought I would make just a quick video to introduce myself and show you around D2L. There's a lot of information I put in here. So first of all, on the home page you can see my contact information. So you can see my office hours. I have Mondays and Tuesdays, and then by appointment. And then we also have live office hours that are specific to Math 110, so come and ask all of your Math 110 questions. That'll be Wednesday at 5 o'clock and then Fridays at noon. My live office hours are not mandatory. Of course, you're encouraged to come. That's the live interaction that you'll have with me. So I definitely encourage you to come. If you cannot, then you can take a look at the recordings. Either way, you're going to go under a virtual classroom to do that. Supplemental instruction, on the other hand, is required, and you'll receive an email from your supplemental instruction leader about those times. But that is required to either attend the session or to post to a discussion board. And again, she'll tell you more about that. My live sessions are not mandatory. I'm taking your attendance by doing your assignments, and you can see that under attendance. And you can see you have your lecture and then you have your SI. Lecture is about doing assignments. So under each of those attendance dates, then I've listed the assignments that will count. So as long as you start at least one of those assignments, then you'll be marked as present for those days. Okay? So my sessions are merely just, I have extra questions, so come on in. Okay? It'll be a Q&A, it'll be very interactive. Whatever questions you guys have or what is coming up on the next test. Most of the content in this course is under content. So if we go to start here, you are going to want to go through this important course information. So this step we have meet your instructor. So that's just more information about me. Definitely print off your course calendar. That's all of your due dates, so the little check boxes next to each of them, so you can make sure that you're doing everything that is going to be graded. And of course, everything should come over into your grade book under progress and then grades. You're going to want to read over all the policies. You don't necessarily have to print this off, but it's good to know how you're going to be graded, the distribution of your grades, any sort of extra credit I might be offering, any sort of policies with the class. There's also additional resources, like who to contact in case you have different issues. So look that over, keep it handy in case you have any questions. Free tutoring, yes, we're online, but we still have our tutors. We have our York Tech tutors. We also have BrainFuse, but we still have our York Tech tutors, so check that out. Take advantage of tutoring. Technology help, if you have any issues with D2L, with your homework system, which is called Newton, with HonorLock, which is what we're going to be using to take your tests, all sorts of different technology issues. Check that out, and that's all the contact information and technology answers that you would have. So I referenced Newton. If I take a look at the textbook information, we're going to be using a program called Newton, and that is both your textbook, so the content, a lot of your videos that are posted are directly from Newton, but it's also your homework assignments. So you need to purchase Newton. Some of your other courses have inclusive access and you've already been charged for the textbook. You have not been charged for Newton. So you need to purchase that code from the bookstore in order to access your homework and also your tests. That's the nice thing about having everything online right now is it's completely consistent. You have your homework, you have your practice tests, you have your tests, you have the videos. All of it should just completely line up because it is all through that program called Newton. Okay? So make sure you purchase Newton, and it tells you how to do that right here. And then all your answers should be all down here, all the different pricing options. You can do a monthly pricing if you want to. I think you have to do that directly through Newton and not through the bookstore. Anyways, on to week 1. Every week is set up in the same way. You'll see some sort of description at the top on what we're going to be covering and then what you need to do. So this first week, you need to introduce yourself, and that's the link to the discussion board. You could get to all of your assignments down here under each of the weeks, or you can come up here and do the discussion board, or the Dropbox, or a quiz, or HonorLock. But I linked them all in here, so you don't really need to use these buttons up here so much. So Introduce yourself in the discussion board. I also put in there if you guys have any questions as you're going through the addendum and, just going through D2L, post those questions in there. If you guys have questions on how this class is going to work, then somebody else also has that question. So post it in the discussion board so we can help each other navigate through this course. Next thing, you need to take the HonorLock practice test. HonorLock, again, is our security software that we're using that you have to open up before all of your tests in your midterm and your final exam to make sure you're not looking at Mathway, for example, looking at some other websites. Okay, so take the practice test under HonorLock just to make sure you know how to use HonorLock. Of course, this is an ungraded practice test so that we can make sure we know how to use HonorLock before you're doing your actual graded tests. Each week you're going to have to review all the material that's listed under lessons. Those are videos, sometimes worksheets that actually teaches you the material. And then complete your Newton assignments, and you'll have individual lists, individual items for each of the assignments, and they are all open throughout the entire semester. So get ahead if you can. This is only 8 weeks to do a whole 3-credit course. You have to post to the Module 1 questions, so that is also a discussion board. You're going to have a discussion board. You have the introductory one that you had up here. Of course, that's just at the beginning of the semester. And then also we have discussion boards for each of the 6 modules that you have in this course. So this is just as you're coming up with questions throughout the module, or you can answer each other's questions. It's mostly for students to interact with students. I see them, I view all of them, but I want you guys to be able to answer each other's questions to help each other along the way. Okay. Also, it could be, if you click on this, there's more information and more ideas on what to post. But another idea is to post a really helpful video that you found. So if you're finding a video outside of the ones that I have listed, then post that on there and be like, hey, if you guys want help with this because I did, then please check this out. And then you have to take your first test. There are only 8 weeks and you have 6 modules plus a midterm and a final. So every single week, except for one, week 2, you do not have a test. Every single week you are going to have a test. Actually, on week 4, you have 2 tests because you have the Module 3 test and then you have a midterm on 1, 2, and 3. So you have a test basically every week, okay? So spread it out. I gave you the whole week for all of this stuff, so it's up to you to, manage your time wisely. Obviously, do not wait until Sunday each week to do all of this. So as you can see, we have all the different folders underneath each week. So here are all of your lessons. So again, most of these things are videos. And I would not go through all the videos first and then do all the homework. I would do the 1.1 video, make sure you understand it, and then go to the assignment on 1.1. Right? Watch all your 1.2 videos and then do your assignment on 1.2. Okay? Go easy on yourself. Assignments. So these are all links to Newton. So if you click on this, then it will send you over to the Newton website. And again, your grades will automatically go over into the gradebook. Okay. Discussion. So here's your discussion questions. Week 1, you have 2 discussion boards just because you need to introduce yourself. Most of the other weeks, you just have 1. And practice test. This is to make sure you know how to use HonorLock. I tried to give you way more information than you need. HonorLock is an extension on the Chrome browser. So you have to use Chrome and you have to make sure it's updated. I gave you links, right? All of these are links. Click on those if you need to. If you don't have Chrome, click on this and install it. Everything is free, but it's an extension. It takes, all of like 5 seconds to install this because it's not a full program. Okay, so it's just a little thing, I don't know if you can see above here, right up next to my search bar. It's an extension that's added to it up there at that top, kind of like title bar or whatever, right next to the website address. Okay, and then they're just going to check and make sure everything's ready to go. As it says up here, you need a picture ID. You're going to actually have to show your ID. And you need a webcam so that it can watch you the whole time, and then a microphone to make sure there isn't somebody sitting next to you whispering all the answers to you, okay? So it's just a test security thing, so make sure you guys are using HonorLock. And again, this is just a practice test. It doesn't count as a grade. Go through all these steps. complete your practice test. I don't care if you fail the test, just make sure you open the thing and make sure you know how it works. And if you have any questions, then here is the link to the HonorLock frequently asked questions. All right, so of course this folder is only in the first week as well. And then you have your exam. So you have a review center. This is actually the exact same link for all the test review centers throughout the whole semester, but I put it in each of the modules just so you didn't lose it. So click on this, click on module 1, and it'll give you very, very similar questions to your test questions, okay? There's a lot of old practice tests floating out there in Math 110, but now we're giving our tests in Newton. So use Newton to study for a Newton test, okay? Other stuff is great as supplemental material, but the best way to review for Newton, I believe, is actually doing it in Newton. Scratch paper, I do take a look at your scratch paper. So this is a really basic document where I just kind of made a little table so you can separate out your work. And I put a little explanation here. So if you don't have a printer, or if you just don't want to use up your ink and your paper, well then just, open this up and create your own little paper. The first one is just the first page is just an honor statement that says that you're not cheating. So you can I wrote in that description of this document what you can do if you don't have a printer to write that. But then look, fancy, it's just some lines, right? So you can of course do this on your own, right? Label number 1, label number 2, and just put little boxes around them so I can easily look at it and give you partial credit. That's the hard thing about Newton tests is that they're not going to give you any sort of partial credit. So do show your work so that I can go back and look at those. Okay. So you've got your review center, you have your test scratch paper. You first have to open up HonorLock and then you can open up your tests. Each test is password protected and will not work without HonorLock. You have to do HonorLock first. So again, it's the same link every time you're going to take a test, but I posted it within each module just so you didn't forget. Click on HonorLock and then you can go back and click on your test, okay? And then after each of the tests, then this is the Dropbox where you're going to upload all of your scratch paper, okay? So each module looks very similar. I told you there's only 1 week where you don't have a test, and that is week 2, and that's not necessarily a good thing because module 2 is the hardest, so therefore it is 2 weeks long, okay? You can always get ahead. I really, really encourage you to get ahead as much as you possibly can because again, this is only 8 weeks. It's summer. I know you guys want to go off and do fun things. Sundays are just the final deadlines for all of these weeks, except week 8, because for some reason this is actually only a 7.5 week course, so it ends on a Wednesday. So July 15th is your very last day. So everything else is due on a Sunday except for week 8, which is due on a Wednesday. And of course, it is only your final exam. It's not learning any new material, it's your final exam. Your midterm covers modules 1, 2, and 3. Your final exam covers only modules 4, 5, and 6. It is not cumulative 1 through 5. You're welcome. This very last folder is called Prerequisites. So what we did is we went through each of the 6 modules. Obviously module 5 did not have any prereqs. And we chose all the prereqs. So for example, if you're like going through your homework and you're like, man, I just cannot get through this because I don't even remember factoring, right? Well, then you can check out the corresponding prerequisites and you can go back and learn factoring, okay? All of this is optional. This does nothing to your grade book, but if you want to use it, then it is there for you. So I just kind of stuck it at the bottom. All right. Under your calendar, you have some of your due dates. All the due dates for the weeks, all the actual folders, I put as due dates in here so they would show up in your calendar. Also the practice test and let's see, all of your discussion boards. All of these have due dates, and so those are listed on your calendar to kind of help you out a little bit. But the best thing to keep track of your dates is that course calendar that I created. Let me just go back here real quick. Where it says print out your course calendar, please print off your course calendar. So this is just, all of these should line up directly with everything that's in each week. but at least that way you have something to print off and then check off as you go through, right? Your 2 discussion boards, your honor lock practice test, your test, and then all of these sections in the middle are Newton assignments. All right, over here you've got your grades and your attendance, and let's see, your virtual classroom, and that's where we'll have our live sessions. So you can have your active meetings, obviously we don't have any yet, and then your recorded meetings. All right, if you have any questions, please let me know. I wish you all a wonderful semester. I hope this was helpful. Send me an email if you have any, well, actually, if you have any questions on the course, please put those in the introductory discussion board. Again, I think that'll be really helpful to see everyone's questions, not just your own. Good luck.